When it comes to Qlik Sense, PostgreSQL comes in two installation types, either bundled or standalone. And the way to tell them apart is by looking at the services that are running on your Qlik Sense server. Let's get started by taking a look at the services of a Qlik Sense server that's using bundled installation of PostgreSQL. I'll go to the start menu and type in services to search for the services app. Then I'll click on it to launch it. Let's scroll down until we see a list of Qlik Sense services and look for the service named Qlik Sense Repository Database. If you have this service installed and running, that means your Qlik Sense server is using bundled installation of PostgreSQL. Now, let's go over to my dev server, which is using standalone installation of PostgreSQL. And let's take a look at what services it has running on it. Notice that Qlik Sense Repository Database service is not here. What I have instead is this PostgreSQL-X64-16 service. That's the service that operates a standalone PostgreSQL. If you have a service like this one, that means that your Qlik Sense server is using a standalone installation of PostgreSQL. Now, it's also possible to not see either of these services. If that's the case, that could mean that your PostgreSQL server is running on a separate machine. More precisely, that means your standalone PostgreSQL is running on a separate machine. It is possible to have PostgreSQL server operated on a dedicated machine. In that case, your Qlik Sense server will just have the Qlik Sense services running on it. And whichever machine has your PostgreSQL server installed on it will have that PostgreSQL-X64 service running on it. So when neither services are available, your Qlik Sense server is using standalone PostgreSQL that's installed on some other machine. Now, what if you have both services running? Personally, I haven't seen something like this, but what that could mean is that you simply have two PostgreSQL servers installed on your machine. One of them is bundled PostgreSQL that is being used by Qlik Sense. That's the one that's being operated by the Qlik Sense Repository Database service. The other is a standalone installation of PostgreSQL that's used by something else, and that's okay. It just means that for whatever reason, someone installed an instance of PostgreSQL on the same server as you have your Qlik Sense server. And yes, it is possible to install multiple instances of PostgreSQL on the same machine. That's commonly done when upgrading PostgreSQL. But in a scenario where you have both services, since you have Qlik Sense Repository Database service installed and running, your Qlik Sense server is using bundled PostgreSQL. The key takeaway is that you can tell whether your Qlik Sense server is using bundled or standalone installation of PostgreSQL by looking at the services you have running on your server. If you see Qlik Sense Repository Database service installed and running, that means your Qlik Sense server is using bundled installation of PostgreSQL. Otherwise, it's using a standalone installation of PostgreSQL. All right, that's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow with more Qlik Sense admin tips and insights.